Welcome back to Clubhouse Chronicles. Guess what? It's 2026. That's right. We're coming to you from the future. First episode of the year. And we are so excited to be back and doing this for a second year. I'm Twitt, your host with the most, ready to spin you the stories, the sounds, and the struggles behind the bands that are making waves right here in your backyard. Clubhouse Chronicles is the official podcast of Broken Record Music Club, your favorite independent record label, bringing you music for whatever you are going through. With that, let's buckle on up because this isn't just a podcast. It's a front row ticket to the heart of your indie music scene. And today we're able to do an interview that we had scheduled previously, and we had some things happen, but we're finally back. We're sitting down with an alt-rock trio from Champaign-Urbana. They pack a mean punch with some strong emotional lyrics in their music, especially in their last single, Until Then. I'm sitting here with the wonderful people of Venus Overdrive, Marielle Lopez, Alex Ishmael, and Ava Stanhope. Welcome to the Clubhouse, everyone. How are we doing today?
Yay, thank you. Doing well.
Marielle is back she did her Roselli interview. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. Roselli had some new music drop recently, indie girl, but we're here to talk about her other project, Venus Overdrive. I kind of want to just start at the beginning with everyone. We've heard Marielle's intro to music, but for Alex and Ava, what initially got you guys into music as individuals?
I guess I can go. I'm a little different from these two because I didn't really grow up actually listening to a lot of music. Like, I didn't really have a particularly music household. We would just kind of put on what's on the radio. I feel like I started being a little more conscious about picking out artists and exploring the kind of genres I like. Actually, in high school, when my friends got a car for the first time and we would drive to school and then they would put on music that they were listening to, there was a lot of classic rock, or they were into pop punk because we were 15 and Red Hot Chili Peppers and stuff like that. And this was right around 2019. And it kind of made me want to learn an instrument like guitar, or just, I started listening to more music. And then the pandemic happened in 2020 and I was like, holy shit, this is the perfect time and the perfect excuse to learn it. And there's no I feel like a lot of people are waiting for the perfect time to start something, once I figure out school and work, then I'll have time to bunker down and commit to this hobby. But when there was the pandemic, I was like, I have all the time in the world. And so, yeah, I just listened to music, played guitar, and then came to school. And one of the reasons I actually went to the University of Illinois is I heard they had such a great music scene, and that's something I want to explore.
For me, what I would say, so my parents are both really musical. They met in their high school marching band. So I come from a very musical family. Especially my dad plays drums and I also play drums. So I just grew up with a lot of drums in the house. I actually still play with some of his cymbals and stuff from the 90s. So it just kind of felt natural to step into that,
Perfect. Alex, what a story. Two opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Coming into it on your own and growing into it rather recently, and then Ava's just always been around it, which is really cool. It gives a nice dynamic flow between the three of you for the music you guys create. I want to. Yeah.
If you call dynamic flow being less talented than these two, but
No, I think we all carry our own weight so well. I think being something that people have commented whenever they've seen our live shows is oh, you're only 3 people? Where's the bassist? But low key, I feel we support each other so well.
It is I feel like it's balanced and just a lot of energy, which we'll definitely get to later. But I want to start back when Venus Overdrive started, which was 2022, which is pretty crazy to say you guys have been together for 4 full years making music and playing gigs and stuff. But when you first formed the band, it was just a duo with Marielle and Alex. And then you later added Ava into the group. What led to that decision to add Ava? Because I believe, Alex, you are a part of Roselli as well. So what led to Ava getting into the mix?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we sucked without her.
Yeah, we sounded much better with her, so it was pretty natural. Okay, so in terms of like the Roselli question, while Roselli kind of existed as like a solo Marielli thing, it wasn't really like a realized band in like 2022. It was like the orders actually like Ellie wrote the song and she just always knew she wanted to release it. And then Venus Overdrive was kind of like the project. And then when we kind of got busy and we couldn't do Venus as often, Roselli kind of started to be built up because she had the time. But we always intended for the band to have more than just me and her. And we played our first show. We actually got like a crazy bill our first show. It was insane. We played at Siebel Center patio with like Decap and Bum Rush, and which is a pretty nutty first bill. I think we just asked the right people, and they just kind of felt bad. And we pulled up with our two tiny like Fender Champion 10 watt amps, and we played without a drummer. And at the end of the show, we're like, if you're here, any drummers, just let us know because we need it. And and Ava auditioned, and she killed it, and we were like, please join the band.
I was at that show where they play with no drummer, and I saw it and I was like, you guys are like hating. I saw it and I was like, wow, this is really good. Like the songwriting was like already like there, and I was like, wow, I want to like play these songs.
Well, thanks, Ava. Yeah, especially with that set. We only played 4 songs. I'm pretty sure.
But I remember I heard "Oops" and I was like, wow, that's a great song. Like I was just like really like struck me.
Oh, thank you. Twitt, I don't know if you've ever had the chance to hear one of our live sets, but Oops is our closer and it's unreleased, but we always play it at the end because people seem to really like that song a lot. It's very upbeat. I feel like it has a bit of pop punk elements, a bit of power pop in it. It's a lot of fun. We need to release it, but the fact that song stood out to you, Ava, just makes my heart so full because, I don't know, I feel like it tends to resonate not only with us on stage, but also with the crowd.
Hell yeah. I have not heard Oops yet, so now I need it released, or I just need to make it out to a Venus Overdrive show and hear it. Because I mean, if it's your closer, that's the last one, best one. That's like the unwritten rule, right? So you guys started the band, or you guys got your start. You got Ava into the mix, and then there's kind of a gap between when you did this and the release of your first song, Denial, in 2024. Was there a reason for this, or how? And then how did it feel to finally have music out as a band? Because that first one is always like a milestone in itself.
I think Alex can probably take this one, and Ava and I can kind of add our perspectives because he kind of composed or produced most of it, and Ava and I kind of added on our stuff later.
Yeah, so I'd say we definitely wanted music to come out sooner. I think it was a combination of being really busy and being really incompetent. I never really mixed anything before, and so like every demo, every time I made like a new version of the track, I was like slowly getting better, but I didn't have a lot of gear. I didn't have a lot of experience, and it just took a little bit. I mean, like, I don't know if this has ever been revealed publicly, but there's like bass on the track, but I didn't have a bass. We went to the Champaign Guitar Center, and I pulled up with my audio interface in my backpack, and I plugged it in, and I tracked all the bass there. And then we just left. We just put them back on the wall, picked the nicest bass they had, laid down some stems, and left.
That's amazing.
I mean, it's very DIY, hey, and that's what we're all about, so.
I don't hate it. It's great.
Yeah, it's resourceful. And then we tracked, it was a little more difficult as well, which is like the recording setup. Ava could kind of talk about how she recorded the drums. It was like a bit of a limited mic situation. And then we recorded like Ellie's vocals in her basement with like a little pop filter and a little mic stand. So it was very DIY, and just because maybe it wasn't recorded in the most professional way, and because I didn't have a lot of experience, it just kind of took a little bit. And also had reached like over like a year and a half without putting out music. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna release it, I want it to be good at this point. Like I might as well just take a couple extra months and like really try to polish it as much as I can. It's like, we waited this long. I mean, we can wait a little longer.
Yeah, I think like the axis around which the band spun was like live shows for so long, like playing, especially like house shows in Urbana, which is that's kind of that's kind of the thing when you're a college band in Urbana. So for a long time, I think there wasn't as much of a sense that we like need to release music because we were like doing what we wanted to do. We were playing shows and stuff, and then eventually we were like, wait, we should like actually do this. And I think we also kind of started to hit a ceiling where it was we were kind of being like, why? How did we even get this far? Like without having released music, because there's a point where like like booking agents and stuff, if you want to play a show, they want to hear your music, so I think we got to a point where like practically like we started to feel some, not pressure, but like we started to feel like there were opportunities we could only get if we had released music like on streaming services.
Yeah, actually, that being said, to your credit, I totally agree with you, Ava. Also, our word of mouth, bless the community of Champaign-Urbana, was so strong. I remember we had only played 4 shows, and then we were asked to open for Kangaroo Court, and like this was like what was it? It was 2022 or 2023, and
I
like
think
that
it
was
2022,
huge.
right? Because that was like reading day. That was
Yeah.
like December 2022.
It was 2022, and like the fact that we got asked to open for them was like huge for us because like they still are amazing. I feel like they were like this awesome force in Champaign-Urbana. I know that they moved to Chicago now, but they were like the band in Urbana, so that was really awesome. In terms of actually getting the music out, yeah, I agreed with Ava and Alex. We were eventually kind of hitting the ceiling that there would be more opportunities to grow within different towns if we had released music. I think personally for me, why it took so long was because previously, even with Roselli, I'd only recorded songs in like a pop setting or even like an R&B setting. I never recorded more alternative leaning vocals, and I was just so hard on myself. I would like record something, I'd be like, oh no, that sucks. And bless his heart, Alex would always be there being like, oh, okay, we're gonna do like another take, okay. But like he was also encouraging at the same time. He was like, I believe in you, you could do this. And eventually we came to a point where I finally really liked the vocals that I had. And also, I think Alex mentioned that we recorded in a basement. This wasn't any like nice furnished studio. It was the most dingy basement ever in Urbana. The basement actually went to go on to be Grandma's house, which is now a DIY venue in Champaign or in Urbana. So it's crazy to like see my past home turn into a venue. And they made the place look so nice. It did not look like that before.
That's some deep Venus Overdrive lore right there for you. If you're a Central Illinois music fan, their first song being recorded at what is currently Grandma's house, is nuts. But very cool to hear all the 3 perspectives on that release. To touch on, you said you opened for Kangaroo Court really early. You've gotten a chance to open for some really cool bands like Axe and the Hatchet Men and Post Sex Nachos, which crazy awesome, especially seeing the recent stuff with Axe and the Hatchet Men, like at the Metro, with that line being as long as it was. Shout out to Pass Down for like the behind the scenes on that. But how does it feel in general just playing on a bill with bands like Axe and the Hatchet Men and Kangaroo Court that have like some kind of aura about them, and what does it mean to you guys in Venus Overdrive?
I think from my perspective, unless anyone else wants to take it, but I think from my perspective, it's fun to play for fans that are not like our fans. Because I feel like especially like when you play like shows in a scene, you kind of see the same people at a lot of shows. And the fun thing about opening for like a bigger band like Axe and the Hatchet Men is like you get their fans at your show and like they see you, but they're not like there for you. And then you have a chance to like have new people hear your music and like just like just shake it up, have the different vibe of a different audience. And I think that's really fun.
I was going to say for me, I like opening for those bigger bands because I'm also kind of taking notes when seeing their performances, how they work the crowd, how they interact with fans, even just seeing like, I think when we were opening for Post Sex Nachos after the show, they were just so down to earth and so kind. Like the line to like talk to them at their merch table was so long, and just seeing how they were just so respectful and so kind towards the crowd when they were on stage and off stage. It was just so great. I was just taking notes at how they performed, but also interacted with the people who support their music. I think also Post Sex Nachos also had a song featured on the recent like Superman. Was it was the recent Superman movie. I saw that Post Sex Nachos was credited for one of the songs, was featured in the movie, which is also just so crazy to me. So to kind of see like the artists that we play with also grow is just so rewarding because we're all kind of in this together, you know?
Venus Overdrive is one band removed from James Gunn's Superman. Like that's a nuts thought to have.
Yeah, get us on Supergirl, honestly. Probably a better fit.
There you go.
For real.
Yes, love her.
Alex, did you have any thoughts?
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good.
I feel like they both did a good job of explaining it. Like, I definitely agree with Ava's point that it's cool to play for people that aren't really going to be going into that house show basement. It's cool to like see more just varied people in the audience. Like I remember like when we played for Post X Nacho recently, like Ali and I were like packing up and leaving, and like so many like families who like went with their like kids or stuff would come up and be like, oh, you guys rock, you know, we're from Detroit or we're from Peoria. And it's just like, oh, like it's really nice to hear, because a lot of our fans are just like, you know, really drunk college kids. So it's like, oh wow, like this sober family likes us. Holy shit, guys. And in terms of like what Marielle was saying about like just getting to see established acts like in person is really cool. Like getting to see people that are super talented and in such like a intimate way, like you could just be off to the side of the stage. It just is really validating. It's really cool. And yeah, everyone we've met, both Axe and the Hatchet Men and Post X Nachos, have all been super down to earth people. They stayed and watched our set and stuff. It was really just a great experience.
That's amazing to have like a good model, or at least a look at someone or people that are doing it the right way and growing, and that way you can kind of take notes and apply what you want to your audience and your growth, and even your music, how you play your music and the music you release. Your most recent release from 2025 was Until Then. I was a huge fan of this song. I really loved like the vocal effect that you put on Marielle's vocal, and it added this like slight distortion, but I feel like that slight distortion just adds so much to the track. Like it gives it like a little character beyond the, you know, just what you're listening to. But I want to know the story behind all of that emotion and the story of the song itself.
I honestly don't know where we should start. Maybe with you, since you made the chord progression.
Yeah. Okay. So the song basically started with just like kind of like all our songs. It just starts with a riff. Like we find a chord progression we like and we just kind of go with it. I think that Until Then was pretty different though than a lot of songs in our like discog, because it's probably the only like real ballad in that there's no like big build up, there's no like kind of quiet loud dynamic. It's just very, you know, consistent in mood and tone. And I think initially it was just really fun to play because it broke up the set really well, especially when we were just playing, you know, just a lot of alt rock tracks, a lot of tracks that are really fast. It was really nice to kind of strip things back. Something that was also really appealing to it was a very simple song in comparison. It basically just has like two main parts, verse, chorus. And so that simplicity just, at least to me, made it feel so kind of accessible and like a breath of fresh air. I think it's easy to make a song that has a lot of layers sound really cool. Because you have all these different kind of sonic abilities you could tap into, but making a song that's very simple but is still really intriguing to listen to, I think is super fulfilling. And I think that simplicity was like, oh my, like this song would be so easy to put out and it sounds good, so like, well, let's put it out. Yeah,
I think when Alex first showed me the chord progression, I was like, wow, this is I feel like we write a lot more punk inspired and alt rock riffs, a lot more alt rock songs in general. So this really felt just very melodic and it just sounded so sweet. So when I heard it, I kind of tried to channel that energy into the song and lean more towards what I do a little bit with Roselli, and even with some of the hip hop R&B tracks that I work with some of my friends. And I think for me, when I was writing, when I heard the chord progression, I was like, this kind of feels like longing in a way. It almost feels melancholic, but also that there could be some like light at the end of the tunnel. So in terms of the lyrics, I really tried to talk about pursuing a relationship with uncertainty. And I think the title Until Then just came about because I thought about like someone just saying, oh, like I want to pursue this relationship, but until the right moment, until the moment is right. So that's why I thought of Until Then as the title. But yeah, I was just really excited to work on a track that felt a little different and a little more vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the drums, the only real thing that or not the only thing, but like the thing I was really excited about is I do play it with brushes because it's very, which I think is kind of fun because it's like, you know, you can't really
It's
play
cool.
a song, but it's like, you know, getting the existence of kind of this very quiet, but also very like kind of like simmering like groove of like a, you know, like a Levon Helm, like Ringo, like, you know, that kind of like very like gentle, but also very funky and locked in and cool sounding. I just really like that style. And so it was kind of a cool chance to like channel that. Like less Dave Grohl and more Ringo, which is, I also, you know, obviously I love like a lot of fast drumming, but it's fun to do something different.
I think
That's
when,
awesome.
oh, sorry, go ahead, Twitt.
No, go ahead. I just wanted to say that was awesome. The brushes,
Yeah.
that's like the tone. It just adds to the tone and the overall feeling. Like, Alex, you said it was very fulfilling from like a listener's perspective, or from a like creator's perspective. But listening, like from the listener's perspective, it's just as fulfilling. I think when you can convey the message so perfectly, like with the various you know, techniques that you use on the track, like the brushes on the drums, the distortion on the vocal.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we could talk. Oh wait, do you want to finish what you were saying, Marielle?
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say something I wish I mentioned a little earlier was I feel like also vocally in terms of the vocal performance, I was really proud of this one. When we did Denial, I added very few harmonies, very few layers, just to give it a little more depth. But with this one, especially in the chorus, I added so many layers of different harmonizing and different melodies. And I remember when I was recording this with Alex, in our little home setup, he's like, oh, what are you doing here? I guess it was kind of hard to visualize how all of them would sound together. And I was like, oh, just trust, it's gonna sound great. I have a vision. And we heard it all together, and we were like, whoa. I was really happy that it tended to work out. I feel like also whenever I tend to look at Venus songs now, I try to add more harmonies and stuff, and nothing can compare to the harmonies I've made in this song. I feel like it just fits so well. The amount of what's it called? The amount of yearning in it. It's a very yearning song.
It's a great descriptor for it. While we're talking about like the process of putting the track together, like you can tell that there's a quality jump from Denial. That was your first track, like putting that together versus Until Then. How did your process shift for creating and recording Until Then versus that first release? And even now, like what does it look like now if you guys are recording?
All right, so I think one of the big notable increases is we actually recorded our drums at a studio. We recorded our drums in Urbana at Tone Good Studios, and that was such a cool experience. I know we didn't really get to talk about it too much with Denial, but that was a very DIY setup. Maybe Ava can kind of talk about it, but I think it was like a 2-mic setup, right, Ava?
Yeah, it was 2 microphones in my grandparents' basement. So multiple basements involved in that recording. And I don't know, what's the basement tally on Until Then? Is it 0 basements?
0!
Yeah, so we're moving up. We're literally moving up.
1 living room, 0 basements. We're out of the basement. That's what happens when you release music, you know, you get to move up in the world. And
yeah, but we did actually go to Tone Good Studios and record the drums like professionally, which was a exponential increase in the number of mics, which was lovely.
Yeah, that was a great experience. But then it was good. It was also a little intimidating because now I had like 8 stems to mix in, and I didn't know how to do that, but we learned. And in terms of the other parts of the production, being able to, I got a nicer audio interface, which certainly helped. And I think because the track was a little more simple, it was easier to strip the layers back versus Denial has a kind of a lot going on with Until Then. Because it was a more simple song, I feel like it was a little more intuitive to lay out. And also I just had experience from mixing Denial. I knew where I struggled and where I needed to improve. There's some really cool stuff on the track for Until Then too. We recorded acoustic guitar and layered that with the electric guitar. And kind of speaking about the vocal effects, I'm so glad that you like it, because I'm such a big fan of those kind of telephone style vocals, and like kind of what Marielle was saying about yearning. I wanted to sound like someone was like on the phone, like expressing how they felt, or yearning, or wanting things to be right, that kind of desperation. And like being able to just try out different audio effects, it's just really fulfilling, and I think it's a cool way to convey the track. And it was just a lot of fun to produce, a lot simpler to mix, and the turnaround wasn't that long for this one. I think we recorded the drums in March of 2025, and we put it out in July of 2025. So yeah, clap it up.
Big time. Big time. Yeah, the definitely got the feel of it, was like on the phone. Like I imagined like being on like the corded phone, like with the long cord, and you're like kicking your feet on the bed, like you're just kind of yearning for it. Like,
twirling the cord.
Yeah, twirling the cord. Like, yeah, definitely got it. So I love it. That was my favorite part of the track for sure. So recently, or more recently, Marielle, you posted that you have left Champaign, or right? You left Central Illinois and you moved, and I believe all of you are in different locations now, correct? So how have things changed for you as a band since that relocation has happened, and how are you navigating the challenges that have come along with that?
Oh, Ava, do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, truthfully, I feel like we're still navigating. I feel like after post-grad, it's a lot of just kind of figuring out our full-time careers. We love music so much, but I think at the end of the day, it was always more of an outlet than like something we're pursuing full-time. But I think we're all just kind of navigating our careers at the moment and trying to see how we could kind of not how we could fit Venus in. Like, we're not working around Venus, we're trying to fit Venus into our current lives, if that makes sense. But it is really, although we don't practice as much and we don't play as many live shows, I just want to say that it's really cool to see how far everyone's come post-grad. I'm really happy to be friends with you guys and see you all succeeding in different ways. It's really nice.
So I'm laughing because everyone was muted, so no one's box was lit up, and then everyone did the hearts, so no one will see that.
That's funny. It's okay. We're trying to curate like a mysterious kind of vibe, like very nonchalant, very non-committal.
Yeah,
but, like,
you guys have to watch. You guys have to watch the YouTube version. Go on the YouTube and watch this so you can see everything.
Yeah, if you want to see the love, you got to come see the video. But yeah, I think it's been, kind of like Marielle was saying, like we're all settling into like post-grad life. We're all doing different things, and Venus is very much so like something that's like more of an outlet, a hobby. I think we're gonna try and do some more stuff in 2026. I think that we all want to record more music and maybe do it in a studio setting. That could be really fun. When we recorded some of the drums for Until Then, it was kind of like a full recording session, and we recorded a couple drums for other tracks. But because we were a band that played live a lot, and a lot of times we would figure out how we wanted the compositions to sound as we played live. We had a lot of, changes in tempo and stuff that was kind of hard to like sit down and record piece by piece. So I think something that we want to explore in 2026 is doing some live band recordings. I think it would fit our sound a lot more, and maybe we get music out a little faster. And then just playing some more shows here and there. I know that Marielle and Ava are both in the Chicago area, and I'm actually working in Ann Arbor. So I'm like a Amtrak away. So we're going to try to see if we can do some weekends together. And yeah.
Geez, a quick Amtrak. I was like expecting you to be in Central Illinois and you're in Michigan.
Listen,
Wow,
it's actually a lot better than it was before. We kind of came in thinking that, or once we played like our final goodbye show at Rose Bowl Tavern, like it was in May of 2025, I believe. I was under the impression that I would stay in Urbana. Ava would be moving to the Chicago area for grad school, and then Alex was supposed to be in Florida pursuing like another career. So the fact that we're actually all in the Midwest, and at the very least Ava and I are like an hour drive max away, is actually so much better than the initial outcome we thought that it was gonna be.
Yeah, we thought it was wraps. We thought that was the last time we were going to be in the same room together. So it's good that.
Well, I'm glad it worked out.
Well, it hasn't yet, but we're hoping it does.
Oh, it's going. I mean, you guys are all so optimistic about it already. Like, if you believe it, I mean, it's going to happen. So I'm just glad to hear you guys have music, because my next question was, what can we expect from Venus Overdrive in 2026? But you kind of answered it. You said maybe some new music coming out. So I'm excited. Everyone else should be very excited out there, especially because, you know, you have such a draw at a live show, and I just want to hear the music on the platforms.
Yes, I promise you there will be at least one song out by the end of the year. I think that I've been working on some ideas, and I'm looking forward to fleshing it out with the rest of Venus. We're going to try to at least get a single out. Please, you know, hold us accountable if we don't, because we really should. Well, we're aiming for like at least one track a year. I think we've done that so far. We released like one track at like the last possible month in 2024. We released one this year. We get one next year.
Okay, yeah.
I also think that you have to come to like one of our live shows if you like to hear this, but I feel like a lot of our songs are kind of tonally different from each other. So I feel like it's been a little challenging to think of like, oh, let's release an EP or let's release like an album, because I don't think our songs are tonally consistent enough to like make a great album. But we're working on some new tracks that I think are a little more tonally consistent. So maybe we might even drop a little EP or something.
Crying, screaming, throwing up. No, you see, the way you should do, if they're all tonally different, just call it like Venus Overdrive's greatest hits. Then, you know, expectations, not that it's a full project, it's just your best stuff.
So real.
Well, Marielle, as you know, I like to wrap up these interviews with two questions that I ask every band, every artist that comes on, and we got your answer. But I'm interested to see how they've changed, if they had. But I want to hear the groups. So the first one is, what's your favorite part of the Central Illinois music scene?
I think for me, it's just like having the ability to make friends. Like, it's a very, very social, it's a very like tight-knit community. And like, even like, I live in Chicago now, and I still like regularly hang out with people I like met through like the Champaign-Urbana music scene. And I think there's something really beautiful about that.
I could go next. I still stand by my past answer that like I believe what I said was that everyone is just so kind and so willing to like work with one another, regardless of musical background and how long you've been playing music, or even how good you believe your music is. Everyone is it's just that great community. I believe I said the community. I still stand by that, but I also want to add on something else. I recently got to work on a piece for Pass Down Zine. It's not out yet, but it's for Urbana. It's for the Urbana sector of Pass Down Zine, and I actually got to interview someone about how they've seen the music scene evolve for over the past 5 years, I believe, and just something that this person mentioned, again, I don't want to spoil too much. Something that this person mentioned was that they've seen like so much DIY evolve and DIY push to its limits within Champaign-Urbana specifically. Like, I remember going to shows early on in like 2021 or 2022, and like it was usually a multi-genre bill. and like there wasn't like that great of a PA system, but like, you know, we still showed up, we still hung out, it was a great time. And now thinking about it, there's like so many new technologies within like an Urbana house show scene. So like, for example, I think about like the treehouse, how they have so many different monitors and screens, and different visual effects that you could see there. There's also vendors at every house show now, and it's just like, it's really cool to see how DIY has evolved throughout all those years, and how, especially within Central Illinois, it's still going strong, and it's not going anywhere. So I just wanted to say, with the Central Illinois music scene in general, I just loved how we've evolved so much through art and through tech. I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, and the thing I like most about the scene is kind of like, you know, tagging on to what they said. It's really about like accessibility and inclusivity. Like, I feel it is so accessible, not only to just like play shows as a band, obviously, like you can start a band with your friends or just other people you met at a house show, and you can basically get on a bill and you can kind of grow from there. But I also think it's really accessible as just someone that likes live music. You know, like coming into like university, I didn't really have a lot of experience just like attending shows, and everyone is so welcoming, and it's just such a cool way to like get to like dip your toes into that kind of world. I think especially compared to something like Chicago, which is like a whole other beast, it can be a lot more intimidating to go to shows, and it could be incredibly difficult to book a show as a band. You know, it's expectations like, oh, do you have a following? Do you have music out? If we were a Chicago band, we wouldn't have played until December of last year because we didn't have any music out. So just like the chance to be able to play a lot of shows, it's just so unique and so cool. And then in terms of like inclusivity, I think that there's a lot of bills that are set up to benefit certain groups or in support of a cause. We've played a lot of shows that are in support of women in music and also minorities in music, or playing fundraisers. I think that's an awesome part of the scene. It's obviously not corporate, it's not profit driven, so we see a lot of more like altruistic, you know, events. Like we played Jamnesty a bunch, which donates money to, it's connected to UIUC Amnesty. We played like Gender Envy. I just think it's cool to not only have a scene that's super welcoming, but, you know, a scene that promotes causes that we think are important.
Absolutely. There's a lot of that. And if you guys out there that are listening don't see that, I think the truest, like the one that's most obvious to see is if you go to Grandma's house in Instagram, they are constantly running fundraisers for various causes. Like they've done some for WEFT, they've done some like a whole variety of different causes, and they raise a good chunk of change every show, which is amazing. So shout out to them and what they're doing. Shout out to the community for continuing to put on these benefit shows for causes like Palestine, causes like gender equality, causes, all sorts of causes. The train just left my brain on that one. I don't know if you literally saw it on the screen. Last question is the toughest question, and I'm interested to see if anyone's answers have updated just because of new music coming out and being around different sounds. But well, who are some of your current favorite artists or bands in the Central Illinois music scene?
I can go first. I know that I mentioned a lot of bands last time I was on the pod. Also, thank you for having me again. This is just so fun. I mentioned Nectar for sure. But a newer band that has been based in Central Illinois that I've been listening to is Lackadays. I really like their song Sophie. I just think it's so cute. It has like, it's a romantic song, but also has some main character energy. I know that they said that they pull a lot, not only from indie rock, but also J-rock, which are both like both genres that I'm a really big fan of. Sophie in particular has been on my repeat, and shout out to Lackadays. They're a cool band.
Shout out to former guests, Lackadays. We've had them on. They were our most listened to episode in 2025. So shout out to them. Hopefully we hear some new music from them this year as well.
I think for me, there's two that came to mind. So one is Sweet Milk, and we love Sweet Milk. I think we've been talking about this in every interview we do for a long time. That Sweet Milk are like such a cool band, and they're deeply, deeply nice people. And yeah, so that's one. And then also I'm kind of a newer one is Granny Square, and they're also like deeply cool, deeply nice people, like kind of like queer, like riot girly punk rock, and love them. Cool band, they're great. They do a cover of Rock Lobster by the B-52s, which I really fuck with.
Yeah, okay, so artists that I like from the Central Illinois scene. So I actually saw Nectar recently with McCauley. I think that was like the last like show I saw in Urbana actually, because it's like right before I left, and they're so fun live, just super upbeat, super just like really tight. Like historically, I've always really liked Soft and Dumb. They're probably my all-time favorite band from Urbana. I think that they just make such cool music, and also very varied music, different moods, different. I love their production, and they produce it all themselves, which is also just really cool. And recently, our friends at Sorry Forever just dropped an EP, and I thought that their single Sugar was really cool. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely should.
That whole project is phenomenal. Shout out to Ocean and the rest of the gang. They are actually going to be on our next episode, so shout out to them. If you want to listen to our interview with Sorry Forever, check back next week. But yeah, I'm excited for that interview because I have a lot of questions and just pick their brain on the project. But it was an awesome project. But that was our last question, guys. So I'm a little sad that it felt like it flew by. In reality, it really didn't. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to sit down with me and answer some questions about everything Venus Overdrive, and finally getting all three of you guys together. I'm so happy we did it. We were able to conquer that hill and to start 2026, no less. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
No, Twitt, thank you so much for having us. This was such a great experience.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having us on. Seriously, like we've been trying, trust me. Yeah, it's just, thank you for just a great conversation. Really appreciate it. Thanks for asking such good questions too.
Oh yeah, no problem. It's my favorite part. I get to ask all the questions that I get when I listen. So hopefully everyone out there enjoyed it as well. If you liked what you heard, be sure to keep up with our friends in Venus Overdrive on their Instagram at Venus Overdrive. It's all one word, all lowercase, really simple.
That's right. No .music, no .io. We have a great ad. We didn't get the Gmail though. We have to add something to that, but
hey, you got what's important. You got the socials right, because you can also find them over on YouTube at Venus Overdrive as well. So they were the first ones there as well. So links to their music will be in the show notes. Links to all these social platforms will be in the show notes as well. Be sure to check out their latest song, Until Then, which has been out on all streaming platforms. If you haven't, go stream it. Listen to that distortion effect and fall in love. You definitely won't be disappointed. But just like that, that's our show. You've been hanging out with Clubhouse Chronicles, where the sounds are hot, the stories are hotter, and the vibes absolutely off the charts. Don't forget to hit us up at our new spot on Instagram at Club Chron Pod for all the updates, news, and more on this podcast. For all things Broken Record Music Club related, we are still over at Broken Record Music Club across all socials for you to check out our artists, other cool things we're up to. It's a brand new year, guys. We have so many cool releases on the horizon. We got a Jenny Scara project coming up. We have a Motus Band project coming up. We have some singles from our artist Tina Bridge, all within like the first 4 months. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be so fun. So be sure to check us out and stay up to date. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. We are still uploading the podcast, the Broken Record Music Club channel, so you can just kill two birds with one stone. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can see all these interviews, the full video versions. You can check out our interviews from Mount Moonfest. Those were in person and live. Shout out to Ethan G. But when you hit the subscribe button, it makes us really happy because it allows us to spread all these artists' music to different places and to different people. So if you have the time, please hit that button. If you hit the like button too, that helps. I'm more worried about the subscribe button because just more viewership for these wonderful bands and artists that come on our platform to talk about their music. So be sure to do that. All right, now that I'm done with my marketing spiel, keep it loud, keep it proud, and remember, Central Illinois is where the music magic happens. Peace.